What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Touchdown Kingdom. We're super excited to bring you our predictions for Week 10 of the 2024 NFL season. As always, we'd like to thank our sponsor, BetUS, for powering today's video. Let's get right into it. Up first, we have the Bengals at the Ravens. Both teams are coming off of great wins, but only one can come out on top in this division matchup. This would be a huge game for the Bengals season if they found a way to pull out the win, but I love how the Ravens have been playing lately, and they're in their own stadium. Give me the Ravens at home, 27-24. Up next, the Giants at the Panthers. It's no secret that these are two of the worst teams in the league, but the Giants have a much better coaching situation than the Panthers, and in a game between two bad rosters, coaching becomes a huge factor. The Giants find ways to score points, but not win. They should be able to actually finish the job this week. Giants win 24-20. Moving on to the Bills at the Colts. This is definitely a game that the Bills should win. They're simply the better team in all phases, and they've been on fire as of late. They would have liked an easier win last week against Miami, but they're still heading into Indianapolis with momentum on their side, and I like them to get the job done. Bills win on the road 26-17. Next up are the Vikings and the Jaguars. The Vikings continued their impressive season with a win last week, and they have an opportunity to stack another one against a bad Jaguars team. Sam Darnold has gone from a career journeyman to potential starting quarterback of the future for Minnesota, and he's established one hell of a connection with Justin Jefferson. I like them to have another big week against this weak Jaguars defense. Vikings win 28-20. Are you looking for a new book this football season? Well, BetUS is the answer. BetUS is the #1 online sportsbook in the world with the fastest payouts in the industry. BetUS has 24/7 personalized service all year long, and they also have live wagering options for all games. They simply have the best betting variety in the business. All of the odds we break down in this video will be directly taken from BetUS Sportsbook website. Sign up today and get a 150% bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000 using the code YouTube150. Up next, we have the Steelers at the Commanders. The Steelers are coming off of their bye week and will have to face the challenge that is Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Daniels is almost a shoo-in for Offensive Rookie of the Year at this point, and Washington is on top of the NFC East through 9 games. This will be a huge test for them as the Steelers are simply difficult to beat. Their defense is elite thanks to TJ Watt, and Mike Tomlin has always gotten the most out of his quarterbacks. I think the Steelers get the upset this week and win 24-21. Moving on to the Falcons at the Saints. The Saints are in disarray and have officially said goodbye to their head coach, while the Falcons are rolling along and having a very good season. This is always an interesting matchup between these two division opponents, but the Falcons are clearly the better team at the moment. Atlanta wins 27-20. Moving on to the Broncos at the Chiefs. The Chiefs remain undefeated and simply find ways to get it done every week. New arrival DeAndre Hopkins had a huge game, and their offense continues to be one of the most dangerous units in the league. As long as they have Pat Mahomes at quarterback, they'll remain Super Bowl favorites. Chiefs win 31-20. Up next, we have the 49ers at the Buccaneers. The Niners have not had the year they were hoping for, but the potential return of Christian McCaffrey might add a much-needed spark to their offense. However, the Bucs are not a bad team despite their 4-5 record. They're favored in this one for a reason, and I think Baker Mayfield has what it takes to get the win and get the Bucs back to 500 on the year. Bucs win 27-20. Next, we have the Patriots at the Bears. The Bears are coming off of a bad game, but are given the gift of playing the Patriots. Drake May made things fun towards the end of their last matchup, but the Pats ultimately fell short once again and are now sitting at 2-7. The Bears have had their ups and downs throughout the past few weeks, but this is as much of a get-right game as there is in the NFL, and I like their chances. Bears win 25-17. Moving on to the Titans at the Chargers. The Titans got themselves a win last week and might have some momentum heading into this week's matchup against LA, but the Chargers are clearly the better team. I like what Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert are establishing as a head coach and quarterback duo, and it feels like this young quarterback has finally found the right fit. The Chargers offense should have a big game this week, and I like them to get the win. LA wins 24-20. Up next, we have the Eagles at the Cowboys. The Cowboys are in the midst of a brutal year. They have problems with their O-line, their quarterback, their head coach, and their owner. It feels like nothing will change for Dallas until Jerry Jones takes a less hands-on approach, but that day probably won't come anytime soon. Meanwhile, the Eagles are back to flying high, and I'm confident that they'll get the W this week. Philly wins 30-20. Next, we have the Jets at the Cardinals. Will the Jets turn their season around after getting a win last week? Probably not. Earlier in the season, the Jets would have 100% been the favorites in this matchup, but that's no longer the case. Things just aren't happening right for New York, and whatever they touch turns into dust. The Cardinals are an average team, but that's all it takes to beat the Jets. I like them to defend their home turf and get the win. Cardinals win 21-17. Moving on to the Lions at the Texans. The Texans are angry after dropping a game last week that they should have won, and they'll surely be hungry for a win this week against the Lions. They're a very good team, but the injury bug has bitten them badly. Meanwhile, the Lions are the new funnest team in football who are almost impossible to root against, and I do like them to get the win this week. Detroit wins 31-27. And finally, we have the Dolphins at the Rams. The Dolphins almost beat the Bills in Tua Tagovailoa's return, but fell short at the end of the game. The Rams beat the Seahawks and are back to 500 on the year. This isn't exactly a marquee matchup on primetime, but it should be a competitive game between these two teams. Ultimately, I feel like the Dolphins are due for a win, and they came close to beating a much better team last week. I think Miami gets it done this week against the Rams. Dolphins win 24-21. Alright guys, that's going to do it for another video here on Touchdown Kingdom. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video if you did enjoy, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates, and as always, most importantly, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your predictions in the comments below. Once again, thank you to our proud sponsor BetUS for powering today's video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.